We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
It's time for Side Scrollers with me, Stuttering Craig. You decide when you lose, not other people. And Blabs.
I like pickles.
And co-hosted by our friends from around the internet. Today with Razor Fist.
They want to square that circle so airtight that there will be no contrary opinions whatsoever.
And now, broadcasting from our homes, it's time for the #1 gaming and entertainment podcast on God's green earth. It's time for Side Scrollers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome on out to Side Scrollers on YouTube.com and Rumble.com and Side Scrollers Podcast.com. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. I'm underwater, but here we are. Stutter and Craig. Great to see you guys. It's going to be a good... Oh, my God. Do we ever not have a day of just the internet giving us all sorts of great stuff? It's one of those days. So much to talk about. It's ridiculous. Hello, Sickly Blabs.
Hello. Hi, guys. Listen, Craig said he was happy that I was here today. That's a first. That never happens.
It's true. It's accurate, absolutely. but I am glad you're with us today, Blabs.
What's up? Why? Why are you acting nice? What happened? What's going on?
Let's talk music for a second.
What kind of joke are we playing here?
Blabs.
Mm?
I'm dying.
Oh, cool. Do I get the inheritance of Side Scrollers?
No.
Damn.
Joining us today, it is Tuesday, which means we're joined by our monochromatic brother, Razor Fist.
Hello. I appreciate you, Blabs.
Oh, thank you.
And I'll pretend to care when you die, Craig.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate that. We all.
Speaking of which, I've been playing the new game Nobody Wants to Die, which is either a killer cyberpunk game or a description of the last 48 hours in the White House. I can't decide which. But it's a cool game though.
What? I have not heard of this game.
It's brand new. It's kind of like if the future was stuck in the 40s.
Oh, okay.
Really
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's bitchin'.
A lot of ragtag, hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
There's flying cars, but they look like old 40s Rolls Royces and stuff, but they're flying around. So it's boss. It's a cool little game. Weird dialogue, but yeah.
I'll tell you this, man. We dropped the ball somewhere like in the 60s and 70s. Now, I would say moving into 80s. We really dropped the ball with the amazing American ingenuity and design of these cars, man. Yes, they were death machines, but God, they looked awesome.
Right.
Ridiculous.
It all went sideways around the time the flip-up headlights got banned. Right? What? They're painful when they hit pedestrians. Cars are painful when they hit pedestrians. Why don't we just regulate those? What?
Wait. So you're saying the lights that flip up like this, they banned
them? They
them?
were removed because people were maimed when they were hit by cars, and I guess the flip-up headlights were a major contributor, not the several-ton death machine barreling toward them.
Right. I didn't know that. That's upsetting to me. I'm wildly upset right now. Unreal.
As someone who owns a car with flip-up headlights.
It's true. And as Laces Out Dan points out, by the way, it's great to I like your avatar. I like your name. It says, Craig, we're all dying. It just depends on the date of acceleration. That's right. Laces Out Dan. Appreciate that. We are all on the way out at a certain point. And I appreciate that.
We just started off with a bang.
That's right. Hey, nothing but positivity to start with the show today. Right. So look, we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to get into this MrBeast stuff with Kris Tyson and all the lack of statements made by a number of different people. We are going to get into this Assassin's Creed Shadows statement, which is just hilarious. We got a little bit of Star Wars stuff today. We have discovered, thanks to X, who bought the $30,000 gaming session with Pokimane. We talked about that yesterday.
It was Razor.
Yes, yes. Spoiler. It was right.
I wish I had $30,000.
We also have.
I wouldn't spend it on Pokimane.
Well, listen.
She's not. I'm gonna be honest. She's mid.
Whoa!
She's
I
mid.
think that deserves a ring.
She's mid with 0 brain cells. I'm sorry. Why?
She's smart. I don't think she.
The OK Boomer one, right? The OK Boomer chick.
No, that's the socialist chick.
I think she was the socialist chick.
No,
This one
she's
right here.
just the idiot.
They're all blending together. I don't know who they are.
They're all one.
I hear that.
There's
This
this
thing here.
massive gestalt of thought.
There's Pokimane for you. I think she's a genius. I think she plays dumb, but
I
can
think
really.
she's a genius.
I'm sorry. What were you?
Said I think she's a genius.
Did you see? I don't watch Pokimane, but I saw her latest thumbnail for her video, and she's like, "I broke up with my boyfriend." It's
Oh
like,
my gosh.
that's kind of smart because all the simps are like, "My chances here."
Yep.
I'll tell you what that is. That's a dog whistle for donations right there. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. Yeah, as pointed out, it's
Like when someone gets on a stream and they're like, "Well, I got a club foot and a butt cancer diagnosis, and I got, I'm lame. I actually think I took a bullet on the way in, but don't, only if you can spare it. I'm not soliciting donations, but
maybe that'll be the title of our next stream. With all that, I got butt cancer, took a bullet, but I'm not soliciting anything for donations. Maybe that'll be it. We'll really turn on the charm. I'll tell you what. Before we get into things, let me just do the intro really fast. Remind everybody we are live on Rumble. I'm just gonna be quick about this. We're live on Rumble. We got an X account. We have an Instagram account, don't we, Blabs?
We
That's
do.
right. Yeah, that's right, Blabs. We have a Kick account. You can also listen to the show on Apple Podcast and Spotify, and you can find us over on sidescrollspodcast.com. We have passed 88,800 subscribers. I tried to screen cap right when we got to 8888888888888, but I missed it. So we're currently sitting at 88,897, just 3 subscribers, 3 normal men away from
8888888. It's like it's either your subscriber count. It's either your subscriber count or it's Movie Bob's daily schedule.
No, that just sounds like some type of commercial on the TV, like some Tempur-Pedic mattress commercial. 888-3000, whatever it is.
We're going to do our best to get to 8,000 likes, or just 1,000, which is great, and get to 25 memberships as well. So look, okay, thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys being here. It's going to be a great show. Right before we went live, I saw this post. I don't know who Shane is here. Looks like he is an indie game dev from Devoured Studios and Ska Studios, making a game called Salt and Sacrifice. Okay. I saw this post, and chat, please tell me if there's anything suspicious about this post at all. Please fill me in. This says, I'm only 38 years late, but I finally own Legend of Zelda, a game I wanted to own since I was about 5. So here we are. We have a picture of Zelda on the screen. We have Legend of Zelda over on the left. What is wrong about this? Because I immediately saw this and said, this isn't right. There's clearly an issue here. The chat's figuring it out right away. The cartridge isn't even pointed down. Look at this right here. Look at it. How can you have this and this does not exist? Sorry. Razor, before we went live, you were saying something. You said maybe there's a
I mean, you could, in theory, if you remember when you were a kid, I think the way it works, it's been a long time, that you could actually turn it on, and if the game was running, you could flip it back up. But why would you do that? Why would you do that? And usually what that did was it would freeze the game. You couldn't play it again. At that point, you had to reset. Right. If I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I used an original Nintendo, but I think you could do that. But why would you do that just for the photo? Much more likely, he turned it on, he stuck it in, he knew that he couldn't he couldn't take a picture and get a pristine image of the TV, so he photoshopped an image on top of the TV. That's what I wonder.
You know, if that's a Photoshop, it's a pretty damn good Photoshop. because but
you could be right. I mean, it's got a little glare there. It could be real. I don't know.
But why
I
go
think it's
through the
real.
effort?
You can see the reflective of the screen.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right.
Okay, my recall on this, and I realize that we're getting into the nitty gritty of this, and people don't really care except for people like me. But I'm passionate about this stuff. I don't recall if you were to pop your game up, because Blabs, I don't know if you know this. When you have a Nintendo, this little thing right here, Blabs, this is for your finger to push down on the cartridge into the NES. So you actually push it down from here into the console itself. That's how the NES worked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it popped up, the game would hence no longer work.
Yeah, I think it froze the screen.
It freezes. Like, I've never played this in my life, but from what I understand and just think, as soon as you pop it out, it would just freeze.
I don't.
Or the screen would turn black.
Or you'd get one of those like test pattern things that looks like a trans flag.
Yeah.
I see. I'm with Michael. Like, I thought the game crashes, but maybe this is just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm off.
Don't you have one, Craig?
An NES, yes, but I don't have it hooked up.
Well, why don't you hook it up and then make a video and be like, I'm testing this out. Boop.
Because then I look like an idiot. If
I'm
wrong.
holding my tongue today.
Thanks, Blast. Appreciate that. I
First for women everywhere. Anyway,
I don't know. Well, there are, as CEO Wade says, if I remember right, the Game Genie had it go in like this, right? But the Game Genie, if just to kind of go a little bit further, the Game Genie, the Game Genie would be stuck in, and the cart wouldn't be here. It would actually be out here. Oh, yeah. Sorry, out here. Like it was actually really far out because the Game Genie took all the stuff. Anyways, that just a little bit of controversy to start the show. You know, there we are.
We'll stay with this story all night, folks.
Well, yes, it's exactly. We need to get our
as it develops.
It's going to be important. We cover the important stuff. All right. Speaking of important stuff, Labs, it's time for you to fill us in today in gaming history.
It's interesting, but I will say tomorrow is a lot better. So today was kind of a dead day. I use sources, by the way, 2 websites.
Okay.
Anyway. July 23rd is Mega Man, releasing back in 1994 on the Game Boy. But then we also have Rio 2016 Diving Champions. And I thought it'd be a nice little nod because the Olympics are coming up real soon and no one seems to be talking about it. And I completely forgot that was a thing this year. So that was released back in 2016. And then we have the Jumping Brownie, which to me, I understand it as some game you play when you're high. And this was released back in 2022. Yay!
The question, Blabs, is, are you legitimately trolling?
It's never intended, but it just kind of comes out that way.
Because
the Jumping Brownie. Wow.
Because Blabs.
Normally I watch the NBA for that. I don't.
Oh, wow. They jump a little higher, don't they? It's crazy.
Yeah. I haven't seen that since NBA Jam went away.
Cool. Okay. Here, check this out.
He's on fire!
Let's
Yes,
go!
there we are.
Blabs.
Yes.
T.O. Massey over on X tagged me in a post, and they said, please give this task to the fans and members.
I saw some game called Quake was released. I didn't know what it was, so I didn't pick it.
What?
There's a game called Quake.
What?
There's a game called Quake that was released today. There's also a game called
You passed over Quake?
It sounds like Quaker's Farm, okay?
There's also a game called Five Nights at Freddy's, also released today.
2014. Let me see. I'm using the website.
Fair enough on that one, but Quake?
Quake? Here's the thing. I tried not to pick the games that just said Windows version and stuff, because I thought then they were just teeny tiny games from Microsoft that like Solitaire or whatever. So I didn't actually think of it for Friday Night at Freddy's. Anyway, though, look, guys, the Jumping Brownie was released 2 years ago.
No, it was way better to have Greg Louganis blowing himself on the cover of that diving game. Totally.
The obscure games are the ones we should be talking about. Bring indie games back and all that. So
Yes. Yeah. Let's not talk about our memories of, I don't know, Quake or
hey,
Five Nights at Freddy's.
You glossed right over that one.
I'm just saying.
Mega Man.
If it's a bit, Blabs, if it's a bit, I love it. Right? I think it's brilliant, actually. Right? But
just give us a quick. I was just pretending to be retarded.
Yeah.
No, because I actually am retarded.
That's okay, Bob. All right.
Listen, I'll be Craig. Look at tomorrow.
Yeah. Thanks,
It's okay, Blabs. You complete me.
You're diverting more than the U.S. government. Right? You're diverting attention
I am
more.
democracy.
I'm the Icarus. Some game named Quake. I twitch. Only one of the most iconic video games of all time.
What is Quake?
Oh my god!
Oh my god! What Biden did during the debate. Don't worry about it, man.
Hang on, it said 1996, the year I was born. Let's see, Quake. It's not giving me anything.
This is why she's a producer, folks.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's why she gets the big bucks.
Listen, I've been playing 2 video games that were super duper old in the last couple of days. And when I say super duper old, I mean they're my childhood. So yesterday.
Do you have Game Pass, Blabs?
I don't know.
Okay, well, it's on Game Pass. Quake is on Game Pass. So
Mercenary says, Razor in Trump's voice, can you tell her that she's fired?
Yeah.
I am so sorry, Blabs. That was the worst video game pick perhaps ever. Frankly, you're fired.
Listen, there's Goat of Duty out there. If it wasn't for me, nobody would know about that game, and now it looks awesome, right, Keg? You even saw it. You thought it was cool. Melanie saw it. She was impressed.
Blabs, I'm just saying.
Did he say Brabs? He said Brabs.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter what I said. What I am saying now is you probably should have put, I don't know, Quake and Five Nights at Freddy on here instead of Rio 2016 and the Jumping Brownie.
I think you should play the game Jumping Brownie.
I think you should play Quake. Is what I think.
What is Quake? Someone just tell me. It came out when I was born. Obviously, I never played it.
It's an ongoing franchise. It's been going on forever.
Well, it's been going on behind my back because I've not known about it.
All right, sounds good.
Like most things.
It has been kind of semi-dormant for quite a while, to be fair.
Yeah. Well,
listen, I've been playing old games on my PC from 2003. I put Zoo Tycoon 2 in the other day, and it slaps.
Greg Ghost says, this is why Gary gives X-Ray Girl an allotment of 7 words per stream. It's part of her charm, folks. Ghost, thank you very much for those tomatoes. Appreciate that. That's great. Normal Man says, here's a $10 to put Blabs into a course about how to do research.
I research, thanks very much. Just not about Quake.
The science is settled, Blabs.
Trust the science.
Coa came in and says, the worst controversy since Blabs' list of games yesterday with Super Pig. That's right.
Super Pig looks funny, though.
Oh, my God. And CR Vox came in with 20 gifted memberships. Hey, if you guys got a gifted membership, make sure you say a thank you. Consider paying it forward. That's outstanding. Vox, genuinely appreciate that. Spectacular with that support. That is outstanding. Nick says, hey, guys, what video game series do you think should be brought back?
None.
Quake.
Because they'll ruin everything.
Quake. I do think Quake should be. Real Wolfenstein. Real Wolfenstein. Not bad Deborah Wilson woke Wolfenstein. The real Wolfenstein franchise.
My goodness. Wow, that's crazy. Good Lord Almighty. Ian came in and says, I can't believe the Jumping Brownie is just 2 years old. What a week.
Wow. Wild. That's the craziest thing all week, in fact.
Wow. Hey, Oh, look at that, Ian. There you go. That's right. Look at that right there.
Those are jumping brownies.
Pretty spectacular. Ian, thank you very much for your support. Like the support she has. Clemson came in and says the jumping brownie greater than Mazda. There we go. All right. Look, we're gonna get to all your super chats, all your direct donations along the way. Gaming Youth also came in with the $25 direct donation. Says with that failed assassination attempt, you could say those Trump false narratives. Puts on sunglasses. Went out with a bang. Godspeed. Thank you. He was trying to do a CSI Miami thing right there.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much, Gaming Noof. Appreciate that. All right. Shaker says, I have a refurbished NES that won't work with the cartridge pushed down. Oh, Shaker, thanks for the heads up on that. Maybe that's what's going on with that one. We'll see. All right. We got a lot to talk about, and it doesn't have to do with Quake or Today in Gaming History today, so we're going to get into it. You good, Blabs?
I'm going to get so much shit for Quake, but listen, it's worth it for the jumping brownie.
Can we recover from that? That's the question. Who knows?
I'm going to go play with my Tamagotchi.
Oh.
It's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It's time for Hard News. Hard News. All right. So look, we have a lot of news trickling out, some quick hits, some not so quick hits today. Let's start with one we didn't get a chance to get to yesterday as we really dove deep into all the chaos that was going on. Street Fighter 6 had some announcements over the weekend at EVO. Razor, did you get a chance to see EVO at all?
No. I did see that it was going on. I saw some of the results and whatnot, but no, I didn't follow EVO.
Yeah. Out at EVO, they had a Street Fighter 6 announcement where I thought this was actually pretty cool. It's always neat to see crossovers in fighting games where they're adding Terry Bogard to the roster. Terry Bogard of Fatal Fury, going to be a character in Street Fighter 6 coming up in autumn 2024. Were you a Fatal Fury guy back in the day?
Big Fatal Fury guy. I'm way more of an SNK fighting game fan, honestly, than Capcom. Fatal Fury's super, super underrated.
It was definitely I would say for me, Fatal Fury was like that tier below Street Fighter. Probably, like low B tier for me. Street Fighter was always king. Mortal Kombat was right behind. Fatal
It
Fury.
depends on the Street Fighter, though. Street Fighter really lost its way for a while there, right? And so it was like, after Street Fighter 2, it was kind of all over the place. They had some good alpha games, some bad alpha games, some good Street Fighter 3s, some bad ones. 4 was very up and down, right? So it kind of comes and goes.
Well, this is cool to see with Fatal Fury kind of making the jump over and appearing in Street Fighter 6. I love the idea. Love the idea. I think it's very, very cool to see. I think it's neat to see these games kind of complementing each other and not being afraid of this. We saw the crossover a few years ago of Street Fighter cross Tekken, and that failed horribly. But at least they tried.
Bad.
Yeah, it was. That was, I believe, Street Fighter cross Tekken was Street Fighter in the Tekken universe. So all the Street Fighter characters were 3D, right? Wasn't that the idea? And then
I think so.
they were going to do Tekken Cross Street Fighter, and that was going to be like the 2D version of the Tekken fighters in a 2D environment. But they never got to that because the plan was to do 2 games, each in their own world. But I think this is a good way to go with Terry Bogard appearing just as like a standalone character. Does this get you excited for Street Fighter at all?
No. Street Fighter 6 sucks. So no, but it's cool. I mean, it's cool that they added him in there.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm all on board.
Give me more Fatal Fury and give me a sequel to the 2019 Samurai Showdown, for Christ's sake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that game was boss. That was one of the best fighting games I played in years.
Okay. I did not play the 2019 Samurai Showdown. Samurai Showdown to me was not. I could not get into it. I don't know. I really liked like the early scaling of like the character. Obviously, as you get closer, the characters get bigger, and as you get wider, the characters get smaller. I thought that was really cool on the Neo Geo back in the day. But I was never in. I'd say the only game that really had weaponry in it that I can get into was Soul Calibur, but I was not into big weapon fighters.
Well, Samurai Showdown was kind of the original. It was like the original Soul Calibur mixed with the original Mortal Kombat, because it had fatalities and kills and stuff in it, maiming and blood. So it was like that kind of, you just imagine early Mortal Kombat mixed with early, Soul Edge, Soul Calibur, whatever. Very, very similar.
Right. Well, that's coming soon. Coming up in fall, which, hey, good stuff. Good stuff right there. So always like to see those crossovers. We'll see kind of how well it's received. Razor, we do have some breaking news as Gravy D has tested out the NES cartridge stuff. So let's see. This is a video that just came in via the internet. This is you guys being a part of the show, and I love it. Gravy D, thank you so much for your efforts here. Let's check it out. See it in real time. How much of an idiot I truly am. Let's check it out.
Hello, I'm going to make a quick video to show that you don't have to push down the NES game to have it work. Mainly because mine has my NES has new pin connectors in it. So I'm going to see that here's the cartridge. I'm just going to put it right there. And here's my TV. There it goes.
What kind of sorcery is this?
That was my thought too.
Yeah, mine never worked like
I'll do it again.
I don't believe this. Gravy.
See if I can do it with
Boy, you are some kind of wizard.
press it again. See, it's not pushed in. And there it goes.
That's wild.
Where's my controller?
All right. I guess we have it. This is news to me. I mean, now he did say he had new pins put on it and stuff. So, hey, let's give it up.
Two words, buddy. Cord management.
Hey, that's an impressive set of
it is
of consoles down there. In addition to his cords all over the place. Hey, Gravy, thank you very much for your input there. Now I feel a little bit better about bringing this up publicly. So I didn't want to throw it out there on X, then get totally ratioed here. Look at this.
Right.
Hey, my life is a lie. It's like you don't even know. Like it's all ridiculous. I don't even understand what's happening right now. But thank you for that. That's the beauty of doing a live show right here and getting the instant interaction from you guys. I love it. Love it. Gaming Newfie came in real quick with the $10 direct donation. Says, in Blab's defense, me and the brothers knew Quake, but we never had it. We grew up with Doom 2, Duke Nukem 3D. I even played Blake Stone and Sin, but never had Quake. Sorry. And those new Wolfenstein game stories are shit. Godspeed. Gaming Newfie, thank you very much. Appreciate that. With that said, you at least knew of Quake. You didn't play it, but you knew it existed. So
well, now I know it exists too.
that's right. And all it took was 5 minutes of bullying and harassment, which was great.
Yes. Bullying works.
That's right. Hey, kids. John says Mai is also confirmed for Street Fighter 6 next year, and they're making a Samurai Showdown action RPG Razor.
Interesting.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that. An action RPG for Samurai Showdown. That's not something that was on the table.
Hack and slash type thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It has a good story. It's set in feudal Japan. That's one of the cool things about it.
Chrisinator says, you're in luck, Razor. There's going to be a new Fatal Fury, and it's a sequel to Mark of the Wolves. Wow, that's cool. Also, Mai is coming to Street Fighter 6. There you go.
There's some kerfuffle over, didn't they censor her?
Yes, we didn't talk about it on the show, but they released Capcom versus SNK recently, I believe it was, and between the Japanese art and the American art, they covered up the cleavage on. Oh my! It's really.
Why
dumb.
even have her like her whole gimmick is she's basically wearing a couple of red curtains, like that's kind of been her thing.
Yes, that's literally been the entire appeal of Mai. Her like
well, it's been her visual design anyway since the beginning.
Yes,
no.
I mean they literally accentuate her breasts in the game. That's like
I don't know what you mean, Craig. What do you?
I don't know. Blabs, you ever seen My Shirai from? Of course you haven't. Just
you ever go to like a big CEO's office, and he's got one of those things where the balls hit each other and go back and forth on the swing.
I can't say I've gone to some CEO's office.
No,
and seen it, no.
Well, Blabs, let me give you.
Just thought I'd mention it for unrelated reasons.
Here's my really quick. This is my on the left. They felt the need to censor her, the artwork here. So just to give you a quick rundown, this is from King of Fighters 15, but you can see. Hey, like they certainly don't lean into it, do they?
No.
Just throwing it out. I mean, like that's actually pretty fascinating right there.
She's just showing off her booty, going, "Yeah, what you gonna do with this?"
I mean, come on, that's pretty spectacular. Here we go. Here's a super move for you. Nice. Like the fire wheel there. That's good. And yeah, so embrace it. Love it. Anyways, that's right. There you go. That's right. Thank you, Blabs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go and move on to our next real quick story. Next quick hit here. By the way, J. Rome, great to see you again, my man. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Always a pleasure to see you. Love that.
I think since we're on the topics of titties, you should show the video for the boys.
Oh, okay. Well, you mean for
sound
everybody?
off though, because then you'll get like copyright. But yes, since we're here, we've arrived at titty destination. So
have we? All right. Okay. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what. We're at 21 members right now. Let's get to our goal today of 25. Then we'll show off Salma Hayek. Okay. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
what is with this show and Salma Hayek?
You're welcome.
Listen, you'll understand quickly in just a second.
Okay.
Master Gala says, "Bye, Blabs. Welcome to new producer, the Tower Tard. The Tower Tard is fired and is fired for pickle-related violence. Welcome back, Blabs. The eternal cycle continues." There you go. By the way, we haven't seen much. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Blabs. We haven't seen much from Blabs, the Tower Tard lately. Where is she
like
at?
The overly attached girlfriend. Anyone?
Yes, that is accidental.
Yeah.
There you go. Gravy D says, "You're welcome for the NES video. I just cleaned up my cords after recording." Lol, embarrassing, I know. And David says, Street Fighter Cross Tekken was one of the infamous games that had all the DLC content already on disc, but locked behind a paywall. I do recall that. Oh man, that's crazy. And look at that. Astana came in and says, "Howdy from Romania. Let's go. Hey, what's up, my Romanian friends? Favorite King of Fighter teams or characters? Mine was always Team Ikarai with Leona, Clark, and Ralph, even if I suck at charge characters. King of Fighter characters for me, let's see. Racer, do you have anything on King of Fighters, the characters?
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of Choi and Mature and Vice. I like those kind of characters.
I feel like I'm getting my fighting games mixed up. Raiden is one of the characters in King of Fighters, correct?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I always like Raiden because he was like a big...
Some of the Fatal Furies, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always like Raiden, big old wrestler character right there.
Yeah.
I'm looking at their list of characters. This is a giant list of characters here. Holy crap. I had no idea there were this many characters in Fatal Fury. In King of Fighters. That's crazy.
We must show the tatas. Because Vescorbino gifted 10 memberships.
Let's go! All right. Thank you so much, Vescorbino.
No attempts, Craig.
Oh, okay. Please clip that so I can put it in the intro.
No way.
Total side note here. All right, we're going to take a quick diversion off our main path today, and let's take a look at this video. This is from Blabs over on X. It just says, I'll read it verbatim. It says Salma Hayek is 57 years old. Okay, let's just keep that in mind.
Parts of her are 57 years old.
Right. Yes, not all of her.
Yeah, that body owes more to Goodyear than God at this point.
Gentlemen, just relax, okay? Just relax when you watch this. And by the way, Salma Hayek 100% knows what she's doing here. Like,
Oh,
I mean, come on.
is this on Instagram or something?
Blaz, where'd you get this?
Probably.
Twitter.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't sure if it was originally.
That makes me laugh. The water slapping her boobs and lifting it up. That makes me laugh hysterically.
How is she like the only Mexican lady who, after age 40, didn't turn into like Grimace from the McDonald's commercials?
I don't know, but I'm going to be very honest. She is spectacular. Wow. Wow, that's awesome. Well, thank you for that.
Maybe,
Thank you.
the secret to eternal youth is being perved on by Quentin Tarantino. You ever think of that?
Potentially.
It explains Uma Thurman, right? Let this moon-faced retard sniff your farts, Uma. You'll live forever. Don't worry. It's the fountain of youth.
Hey, Vescarbino, thank you very much for that with the 10 gifted memberships. If you guys got a gifted membership, make sure you say thanks. Consider paying it forward. Mr. Scuffles says, even straight women love tatas. That's how little they need to be censored. That's right. Everybody loves boobs. It's crazy. Speaking of boobs, let's talk about what happened yesterday or a couple days ago over the weekend, which was the Pokimane. Well, it wasn't the Pokimane auction, but there was an auction that took place that Pokimane offered up.
Auctioned herself off. Let's be real.
It is a gaming session with Pokimane, right? And there's more to this story because what happened was during this auction, they came in and offered up. Pokimane offered a gaming session, and it's very open ended. I'm sure there was more details about like was it an hour, 5 hours, whatever, or a stream or something like that. But the gaming session with Pokimane was purchased for $30,700. So over almost $31,000. But Blabs, did you know that the same person who bought the Pokimane gaming session also picked up sessions with 2 other streamers as well?
What kind of streamers?
Well, there's a streamer called Valkyrie.
Oh no. Okay.
Do you know Valkyrie?
Everybody knows Valkyrie.
Catch me up on Valkyrie real
She's a
quick.
hot. The end.
Okay, sounds good. And then there was also a hangout/gaming session with Iron Mouse and Sea Dog VA. I don't know who these people are, right? But apparently, between the 3 of those different gaming sessions, a VTuber named Claudia Moneta paid $68,200 for these different gaming sessions with these people, right? $68,000. Now you may be asking yourself, who is this person? Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Hold on.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Sound effects and everything.
That's right. So who is this person? Well, and who has $69,000 to pay?
A specific number.
Someone who's spending it on advertising.
Right. And that's kind of where this goes into. This is a person, Claudia Moneta, on YouTube, only has 3,000 subscribers. 3,000 subscribers to their channel. And over on Twitch, they have 4,000, roughly 4,000 followers here. Yeah. So very small. So part of me wants to know, is this kind of genius to spend $69,000 on, like, let's just say you look at this as a business. Let's just say you're like,
investment.
Look, I mean, that's a pretty big investment, right? But
only if you're talented enough to keep those viewers.
It's a great point. Great point. You got to be able to hold it. But is this smart? Like,
No.
You don't think she'll see a return on investment?
No, and what if like the internet can be for forever, but what if the internet goes out, cybersecurity attacks and all this stuff, and you lose everything just like that? You lose your YouTube channel, whatever it is, demonetized, gone. Strike.
I mean, this is definitely for the views. I mean, definitely marketing. We're talking about it, right? But at the same time, I mean, who just has $70,000 laying around to do this?
Why aren't they giving it to me?
If you had that kind of scratch, what are you doing on the side? Like this has to be a side gig for you. Like what?
Oh, maybe they hit it over on with
maybe
crypto.
they have the lottery ticket winner.
Right.
Crypto, maybe, perhaps.
No, the lottery. They won the lottery. I'm convinced.
Maybe they're one of the chicks Vince McMahon paid off.
Everything's on the table right now.
Right?
Saying it's like the genius is far from what you call this crap, Craig. Well, listen, marketing, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, it's that VTuber money, perhaps. Who knows? Well, anyways, it's just an interesting follow-up right there as
Elon's
the whole thing. Yeah. All right. So there is a new, let's go and move on from that. There's a new Star Wars game coming out called Star Wars Outlaw. And about 10 minutes of gameplay was put out on IGN a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. And they put about a minute of it out on X. Have you seen the gameplay of this yet, Razor?
No, I haven't. I think I've been hearing about like how retarded the budget is, but no, I haven't paid much attention to the game itself.
Well,
I've not seen this new footage. I've seen the footage that they showed during like all the showcases and things. Unless it's the same, I don't know.
Well, speaking of the budget, before we get to the gameplay, yeah, you're right. Ubisoft has put more money into marketing Star Wars Outlaws than any other game. Which was I thought that was fascinating.
What? All the Splinter Cells, Rainbow Sixes, freaking. You know what? Good. Right. I hope they spend like 14 times that amount before the end. I hope they like mortgaged Ubisoft HQ to pinch out this Pulak. By the time Star Wars Outlaws drops, I honestly hope there's nothing left of Ubisoft but a concrete foundation and a lingering cloud of French BO stench. I just want them done at this point. Just nuke them from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Labs, you're going to say?
Can you tell I'm not a big fan of Ubisoft? Sorry. Did I tip my hand on that one?
Nah, I just said ew because of the BO. But honestly, in all honesty, I don't see anyone actually excited for this video game except for the Disney shows. And the thing is, it's a very expensive game. Especially when you look at all the bundles and passes and everything for this game. It's super expensive. So I'm wondering who's actually going to buy this game, especially when they're taking bits and pieces of it from other previous games. And we've seen it with Star Wars Battlefront 2. They basically took the movements from that game and put it in this game. And that game came out in 2017 and it looks the exact same, but it's now 2024.
What was the game that did that with Assassin's Creed?
I wouldn't know.
Shadow of Mordor. They like copied the Assassin's Creed animations and whatnot, and apparently the animator from Assassin's Creed was like, "Hey, I recognize that." That's another example of that I remember.
Blabs, will you do a little digging? You talked about the price of the game. See if you can find the different prices of this. This was a really interesting. Listen to this. This is a statement from the Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot. Says. What we are factoring in is a strong launch for Star Wars Outlaws. That's the fact. This is an amazing statement. That's the fact that it's among the most awaited games of the industry this year and reflecting a really strong positive community sentiment.
What?
And the fact that we are coming with the biggest marketing campaign ever so far for a Ubisoft game. Like, they have to have data that I don't see. Right? Because I don't think this is
who's anticipating a Star Wars game in 2020. Like, talk about striking while the iron is carbon frozen.
Well, think about it in the last 2 years that we've had releases for Star Wars video games. You had the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the sequel, whatever it's called. That one flopped on launch. The fact where EA was like, oops, my bad. We messed up. We know this game isn't ready, but here you go. Then they also had that other Battlefront game that actually everybody and their mother was excited for. And lots of people pre-order it only for it to not work as it was intended to work. And everyone was pissed and that flopped. Now we have this game and people are like, because it looks like Han Solo reskinned. And in order for you to play the part that everyone's excited for, which is Jabba the Hutt, you actually have to pay more money for that. That's not included in the base game. So here are the actual prices for it. So compare Star Wars Outlaws Edition. So we have Standard, Gold, Ultimate, and another Ultimate Edition, which is day one with Ubisoft Plus. So you get all these 3-day early access, season pass, blah, 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 blah. But here are the prices.
$17.99 a month. I love it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So that's the biggest thing with this game. Not the whole like, the woman looks awful, she's fucked up, her face, they made her awful on purpose. All the the bullshit. The biggest issue with this game is the actual pricing.
Oh
So
my
that's
God.
why I'm always wondering, like, how well will this game actually do?
Well, it's a quadruple A game, right? That's what Eve
Right.
Are they
Guillemot
calling
told
this
us.
a quadruple A game? This Ubisoft one? I thought that was just Skull and Bones, and that
Yeah, that
flopped.
was Skull and Bones. Yeah, but it's just a meme. Yeah.
I thought I was like, no way they're promoting this as quadruple A.
Okay, well,
Well,
let's
they're pricing it like it, right? Isn't that what Yves Guillemot said a while back? He was like,
Look
right?
at this one more time. I'm sorry, Blabs. Let me pull this up. $130.
Yes, and
For the
that
game.
gets you the base game, the Kessel Run bonus pack, 3-day early access, the season pass, Rogue Infiltrator bundle, Sabek Shark bundle, and a digital art book. Not even physical, digital.
Wow. I mean,
$130. I could almost buy like a single bag of groceries for that.
yes, you can almost eat for Monday through Wednesday, which is great.
Yeah, almost.
Okay, so let's look at the gameplay. Neither of you have seen this, so I'm very intrigued. This is an edited down version from IGN, but this is what's been passed around on X over the last few days. And this has been seen it's been seen over 9 million times at this point. And I don't want to sully your perception of this game before you watch it. So I'll just say this. Here we go.
It's already sullied.
Okay.
What?
All this for a tooth.
Oh,
This
Slidey
looks
third-
like Battlefront 2 2017 campaign. And that's from EA Games.
Wow.
The big
This is
thing
Ubisoft
Is that a
2024.
2D? Is that a 2D explosion sprite? Is that what I'm looking at there?
I don't know. I don't know.
It kind of looks like it. It could
Is
just
this
be the screen.
unfinished?
Well, everything. They wanted to show this, but the slide here is what's gotten people. Is this amazing slide art at the back?
Oh my god! It's obviously a prefab like cover thing.
Yes, absolutely. Continue.
What year is it? We're still doing the third-person chest-high wall cover thing.
Okay, that's one of the big things. Is a lot of people are saying this looks like a game from 2006, right? That's the response. It looks like something that was done 20 years ago at this point. And if you're into that type of thing, okay, cool. But it doesn't look like it's
Go back a little bit
sure.
to when that explodey canister gets shot.
Okay.
Take it from there. That is a 2D sprite of an explosion. I was right. Look at that. It's flat. It's a flat image.
I think you're right. Just looking at that, I think you're right.
Quadruple A gaming, folks. Quadruple A gaming.
Wow.
Holy buckets.
Holy moly. You may be right.
Welcome to the PS2 era, folks.
Wow. Okay. All right. Let's go to continue here.
They're headed for us. Oh, got the tooth. I should get out of here.
I appreciate her talking to herself here as she's going through. I should get out of here now.
I like how she runs like she's got pants full of poo. Like just a full diaper run. More 2D explosions. Jesus.
So that's the gameplay that's been passed around like 9 million times over here. Like it's been seen 9 million times. And the response has not been positive. not been positive. A lot of comments over on X. This, by the way, this is coming off. I just like to reiterate. This is coming off of the CEO saying that they're expecting a strong launch. The fact that this is amongst the most awaited games of the industry this year, and reflecting on a really strong positive community sentiment, as we can directly move back to the other tab. This is going to be bad. This looks like a high-res game with mechanics and combat from 2006. This looks
I can't
generic.
believe nobody said I've got a bad feeling about this.
I actually have 2017 gameplay from Battlefront 2 of Princess Leia. And tell me it's not the same. Look how she moves and everything. So she's just chilling in the bubble. But you're telling me that's not the same from 2017 to 2024?
Is there like chest high wall cover?
Not really, but you still run around and everything. But like the movements, how like they position her and everything, the gun.
Yeah, she does have the full diaper walk going on there.
She got poopy pants going on, doesn't she?
Yeah,
a little bit.
All right. Well,
so that's what I'm saying. Like they copied the Battlefront 2 game.
wow, that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing right there. Normal Man just came in with the $20 super chat. Says all Ubisoft can do is copy other people's homework. The latest Assassin's Creed games are copies of The Witcher 3, and Shadows will be a copy of Ghost of Tsushima, and Outlaws will be a crappy copy of Uncharted. Mark my words.
Yeah, it looks very Uncharted. Very, very Uncharted.
And I really like how they say it's going to be like their biggest game of the year, Ubisoft. Meanwhile, they have Assassin's Creed coming out, and they're already like, no, that won't do well. Star Wars will.
Well, we're going to get to Assassin's Creed in just a second because the hits keep coming from Ubisoft. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Before we do, how about we take a stop over at Disney World?
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. Razor, I don't know if you know this, but there have been some changes that have taken place over at Disney World over the last couple of years.
Really?
Yeah. We saw Splash Mountain get repackaged into Tiana's Bayou because Splash Mountain was racist.
Wow.
Did you hear about that?
Yes. Kind of like what happened to the Matterhorn.
Yes, they changed that to Frozen, but it had nothing to do with racism. It had everything to do with plopping IPs into Epcot. But there was a small change, but Disney was not done with changing offensive things as they made their way over to the Country Bear Jamboree, a day one show that was changed this year and reopened. As Disney they were going over to that park place for this story. Disney cancels offensive country bear character after 50 years. Now, you may be asking yourself, Razor, which I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you may be asking yourself, what was so offensive about this character? Allow me to fill you in. This is
why
one of the
white women chose the bear over a white man. Is that?
No. This is a character that, as pointed out, the gang's still all there with one noticeable exception. Big Al, Henry Taylor, Trixie St. Clair, right? Those of y'all who are really into this, except for Liver Lips. Liver Lips McGraw has been removed. Why would Liver Lips McGraw be removed, Razor?
Is he a hobo?
Nope.
What is it?
Well, Liver Lips has been removed because apparently Liver Lips is considered offensive to those with alcohol dependency.
Trying to get ahead of that Kamala Harris candidacy, I see.
This is just fascinating to me. By the way, this is Liver Lips before. The bear is still there, and this is what they did to Liver Lips. Look at this. That's what they did to Liver Lips.
Oh my god!
They turned him into Elvis.
Look at his sucky lips. That's awful.
He still has the lips. He still has.
Yeah, he's got like Jar Jar lips.
Musical Jar Jar Binks.
The term liver lips is considered derogatory and offensive as it's associated with excessive alcohol consumption and the resulting liver damage. The phrase is deemed to be insensitive and outdated, prompting Disney's decision to modify the character. So there we go. That's where we're at right now.
So we put him in an Evil Knievel jumpsuit, and now he's just, what is he now?
Not Liver Lips.
They didn't give him a new name. Oh, Romeo McGrowell. What?
Yes. There we go. Look at that big sweet. Like, man, this is like the guy from MrBeast before and after.
He should make like the real Romeo and ingest poison.
Just straight on down. So there we go.
Yeah. Now he's named after a character who committed suicide in a famous play, folks. Problem solved.
I think at the end of the day, you, Razor, me, and just the rest of the world, we're not smart enough to be able to, like, Disney wants to play daddy here, right? The idea that this is, have you ever heard anybody, number one, say liver lips? Number two, ever say liver lips is considered derogatory and offensive? Ever.
Yeah, seriously. I didn't even know that's what liver lips meant. It doesn't. Let's be real. It doesn't. Nobody even uses that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to censor whippersnapper now? Oh, it could be about the whips that were used against slaves. You don't know.
And this is I'm honest question, chat. Guys, normal men out there, have you ever heard the term liver lips used to describe a drunk? And have you ever heard liver lips? Have you ever seen it as an offensive term ever? It's like, do you remember a few years ago when you'd say the word like, oh man, he got gypped, right? And it meant like he got like, cheated out of some money. And then someone's like, you can't say the term gyp anymore. It's offensive to gypsies. And it's like, what are you talking about? Did you ever hear that?
I thought the word gypsy was now offensive and you aren't allowed to say that one either.
What? You can't say gypsy anymore?
I swore you weren't allowed to say gypsy anymore. Wasn't it like nomad or traveler or something like that?
It's gone even farther, right? Now you can't. I forget what it was not even that long ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. You're not allowed to say globalist in certain settings because it's code for Jewish. It's like, what? What? What does that mean?
Oh, wow.
The mental mentality, like mathematics. I'm just so confused. It's
don't get it. Nick DiPaolo was told a joke about that where he's like, well, you know what? I think they got a point. I went over to the store the other day and that guy was really globaling me down. But anyway. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, there we are. You're not smart enough to figure out all these things for yourself, and Daddy Disney needs to come along and fill you in for problematic reasons. Unreal. Benjathan came in with the 20 euro monies. Thank you so much, Benjathan. Says, it's sad, Song of the South was based off a series of tales that a really racist guy collected, or racerist guy collected. These were old African folk tales that slaves kept. Uncle Remus actor is the first black man to get an award too. That's right, but that's all gone down the toilet.
Him.
That's right, because Daddy Disney said so. So there we go. All right, let's move on to let's go back to Ubisoft as we just continue to do our poopy pants walk over to Ubisoft here.
Waddle, really, more of a waddle.
It's just back and forth.
Yes.
Now, I cannot pull this up, Labs. Can you actually pull up the initial techforgames.com link, please? Because this is a nice little background on this. Because there's been an ongoing controversy over the past, month since this story has come out. And this is a nice little recap of everything that happened. But as Blabs pulls it up, the long and short of it is this. The lead character, for those of you who are just catching up, the lead character in Assassin's Creed Shadows, the upcoming Assassin's Creed game, is a black samurai, and there's controversy around this because there were no black samurais in feudal Japan, right? Yeah. During this time frame. And so a lot of Japanese people, it was first pointed out, and then a lot of Japanese people were like, whoa, that's not right at all. And then they brought in the guy who was saying that this character or this person was a samurai, was exposed for being a total liar, right?
He cited his own quotes on like Wikipedia as a source. Like,
I am the source,
right? It was sourceception, basically.
Yes. So he came out and people called him out and they realized that it was a bunch of nonsense. So we got people over here who are complaining about the DEI nature of this, right? And by the way, this lead character in this game not only is a black samurai, but also gay. right? So, that's something else. What's that?
What are you gay?
That's right.
What?
Which, happened all the time in feudal Japan, right? So there we go. So this morning, Assassin's Creed put together a message which was received.
There's more to it than that. Like freaking Japanese politicians and political advisors are weighing in on it. Like this may become a diplomatic issue. And that's the only reason Ubisoft finally opened their yap, folks. That is the only reason.
Well, Ubisoft has opened their yap, and they released a 4-page statement this morning over on X. Which
I knew if France ever went to war with Japan, it'd be over like video games, cartoons, or creepy porn. Turns out it's going to be all three. It's a Ubisoft game.
Well, let's go ahead and check out this statement here, and then we'll see some of the responses from this statement here, because this is gone over about as well as a wet fart. So here we go. This is from the Assassin's Creed development team. It says, to our esteemed, by the way, only to the Japanese community and nobody else, by the way. I just want to point that out. To our esteemed Japanese community, a message from the Assassin's Creed Shadows development team. First, we want to express our heartfelt thanks for all the support for the Assassin's Creed series, which now has its own history spanning almost 20 years. Over this time, we have explored various settings, time periods, and characters from an assassin during the Third Crusade to a Viking in 9th century England, and countless more. Actually, you can count them. They're not countless, by the way. You can very clearly count the number of games. Just pointing that out. For many of our team, creating an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan has been a long cherished dream. Since the announcement of Assassin's Creed Shadows, we've received many positive...
Hold on. A long cherished dream, dude. They've been dodging a game set in feudal Japan for how long? At one point, what was it, in like 2010? They announced... What was it they announced? They announced a game, and it really pissed off Assassin's Creed fans. Because it seemed like they were teasing it. Was it like a 3DS game that was set in like China or Japan or something? It was like some crappy spinoff. Everyone thought it was going to be a mainline game set in Japan or whatever. And Ubisoft literally came out and said, look, we have to make the games we're inspired by, and we're not inspired to make a game set in Japan. Like Ubisoft basically told their fans they would never make this. They're doing it now because they need the money. Like 2.5 people played Mirage, and I'm one of them.
Well, this has been a long cherished dream for the team behind this. So since the announcement of Assassin's Creed Shadows, we have received many positive reactions, but also some criticism, including from you, our Japanese players. We share your passion for history and deeply respect your care for the historical and cultural integrity of your rich heritage. We would like to address a few points to clarify our intentions and creative decisions. Let's hear them. In regards to the overall authenticity efforts, we have put significant effort into ensuring an immersive and respectful representation of feudal Japan.
With black samurai butt stuff.
That's right.
The samurai can't be black. The samurai held down a job. That's not how that... Anyway, sorry.
That's right. So strong opening.
I kid.
Strong opening. However, our intention has never been to present any of our Assassin's Creed games, including Assassin's Creed Shadow, as factual representations of history or historical characters. Instead, we aim to spark curiosity and encourage players to explore and learn more about the historical settings we get inspired by. Assassin's Creed Shadow is first and foremost designed to be an entertaining video game that tells a compelling historical fiction set in feudal Japan. Our team extensively collaborated with external consultants, historians, researchers, and internal teams at Ubisoft Japan to inform our creative choices. They continue. Despite these sustained efforts, we acknowledge that some elements in our promotional materials have caused concerns within the Japanese community. For this, we sincerely apologize. All game footage presented so far is in development, and the game will keep evolving until launch. Based on the but based on the constructive criticism that we have received, we will continue our efforts until we put this game into your hands and beyond. We also want to clarify that while we have
Buzz Lightyear there
and beyond,
like what?
we also want to clarify that while we have been consulting with many people throughout the development process, they are in no way responsible for the decisions that are taken by the creative teams in the interest of gameplay and entertainment. Consequently, we respectfully request that any criticism not be directed at our collaborators, both internally and externally.
And we feel so strongly about not offending the Japanese that this statement is written in English.
By ChatGPT, by the way.
Right. Absolutely.
So here we go. Creative liberties and historical inspirations. While we strive for authenticity in everything that we do, Assassin's Creed games are works of fiction inspired by real historical events and figures. From its inception, the series has taken creative license and incorporated fantasy elements to craft engaging and immersive experiences. The representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this. His unique and mysterious life made him an ideal candidate to tell an Assassin's Creed story with the setting of feudal Japan as a backdrop. While Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. We have woven this carefully into our narrative, and with our other lead character, the Japanese shinobi Neo, who is equally important in the game. Our dual protagonists provide players with different gameplay styles. We greatly value your feedback and encourage you to continue sharing your thoughts.
Let me guess, the other character is abroad?
Yes, it is a strong woman. While we understand that meeting everyone's expectations is very difficult, we sincerely hope that when Assassin's Creed Shadows launches on November 15th, players in Japan and around the world will appreciate the dedication, effort, and passion we have poured into it. Signed, the Assassin's Creed Shadows development team. So there we go. That is their statement. And you can see the response from many people here. We'll start with Dan Vask, friend of the show. What a mess. We aim for historical accuracy. We don't aim for historical accuracy. We only criticize the people we tell you to. And only criticize people we tell you to. We are being retarded on purpose.
It's just France's revenge. They've been pissed at the Japanese ever since they put that red dot on their white flag.
Then we got this one over here. It says, I love the cope of, quote, most Japanese don't care about this in the quote retweets, when just a few days ago, the Japanese government got involved in the whole situation. I've even seen store displays in Japan mocking the game. So don't lie to yourself about it being some boogeyman or bogeyman right here. So straight from Japan right there. Now, they did respond and actually post this in Japanese.
Yeah.
So that is good. They posted this. But I'll say this. The response there has been less than good as well.
Yeah.
Via Google.
I caught some of those replies.
Yes. So let's go check out some of those here. This is the most prominent one with 4.8 thousand likes on it. I think the story about Yasuke should be considered fiction based on Yasuke. The issue of historical retelling is no longer a Ubisoft issue, but a Lockley issue. That's the person who got called out and was lying about the whole thing. However, Yasuke is no longer the problem. The plagiarism of materials from manga organizations and cultural heritage sites, the misinterpretation of Japanese history, and other misinterpretation of Japanese as Chinese, among other things, show disregard for Japan. The problem is these. And once again, that's from a Japanese writer there. And this is another one says, thanks to your company, I was able to become aware of the historical changes being made by the forces of globalism in Japan. Thank you very much. As we continue
that
here.
says globalization against Japan.
Wow.
Oh, what did I say? Did I say that incorrectly?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's in English. I can't read. This one.
Try reading Japanese then.
That's right. it's so roundabout that I don't know what you're trying to say.
They contradict themselves numerous times, as Dan Vask pointed out. It was like the moment where they said, "Well, we strive for historical accuracy. We're not really striving for historical accuracy. We have our own kind of what was the terminology they used? We have our own self-contained pseudo-historical nature." It's like, what? So basically, we can be historical as long as we can contort it to be woke, is essentially right. That's kind of what they're saying.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what they're saying. And if you continue down, this is actually a little bit longer of a response here, but I think it's worth talking. At least this last paragraph here says, I think what's most worrying about this current uproar is whether or not the game is contributing to historical revisionism, right? To be honest, the issues involved are beyond my ability to handle, so I'll leave it to the experts. But the thing that worries me is that most of the fundamental philosophy behind how the world is depicted in this game, rather than a depiction that pursues detailed realism like Origins, which recreates the world of that in the game. I strongly hope that an quote experience that allows you to become one with the world. As a fan of the series, I just hope Shadows doesn't end up being just a work set in Japan during the Sengoku period. So it's crazy. The response has been pretty outstandingly negative. And we have Kongman as well, who was on the show just a couple days ago. And I think he's right about this. Says all Ubisoft had to do was have a Japanese main character in the game that takes place in feudal Japan, but they couldn't help but shoehorn a DEI black guy and repeatedly market him as a real life samurai based off zero historical evidence. Now a whole nation is pissed off.
I'm almost certain they're not even allowed to have protagonists that are white guys anymore, because once you take the money, those are terms that you are now adhering to. If they took DEI money, they may not literally be allowed to put a white guy as a protagonist anymore.
I don't know. I don't know the answers to that. But we can see the response here, and you're probably right. I mean, maybe there's some sort of clause in there or something. We need more diversity, right?
Right.
Disparu says, I don't even care if he existed. I'm bored of all entertainment looking the same. I want my Japanese entertainment to be Japanese, my Korean to be Korean, Spanish to be Spanish. If everyone is from everywhere, nothing is special or unique and different. Like right there, right? And isn't that the idea, is that you have an opportunity, like when you learn something new about a new culture, it's fascinating and you want to learn more about it, right? I can think of, so many different times playing video games that you experience something in a game and go, wow, that's cool. I want to learn more about that from a different culture. Or the idea of playing a game, like a game that's made in Japan, and seeing the cultural differences, maybe the change that they had to make from Japan over to the Western markets for cultural reasons or whatever. And you look at it and you're like, why did they make that change? I wonder why that happened.
Right.
It's been a mess, to say the least. I still say this game is going to die before it's even released.
Assassin's Creed has been losing momentum for the last several entries. It's already kind of got an uphill climb. You add in all of this controversy, I just don't see it doing well at all. I'm with you.
I actually see it doing okay, because a lot of the normies don't know anything about this, so they're just gonna grab it because they like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
and they're just gonna
pick
it up just for interest.
But are they gonna pick up the game and go Black Samurai feudal Japan? Like, they could know nothing about Assassin's Creed and be like, what?
You have a point, but I still think the normies will be like, it's an Assassin's Creed game. Let me go play it, and they're gonna play it, and then they're not gonna like it. I think they'll buy it and not like it.
Here's the thing. I don't think that Assassin's Creed is a normie game. I think
normie numbers. Some of them have. Some of them have.
I think that Assassin's Creed was a normie game, a popular game, the same time Halo was, right? I think Halo doesn't have the same allure that it did a decade ago, right? Normie games to me are Madden, NCAA Football 25. Mostly sports games, Call of Duty, right? That's a normie game.
Fortnite, right?
Right. I don't think that Assassin's Creed is a normie game anymore. But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong.
I think it's a normies game still.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'm
Just
wrong.
my personal opinion. I don't know.
Cool.
We'll see. We'll see when it releases, and we'll see the.
I mean,
sales.
every Ubisoft game. I mean, Ubisoft game should have like a trademark symbol next to it. Like every Ubisoft game is the same. You climb a tower, you view things, you pick up meaningless collectibles. Someone uses a bow at some point. Like this is what Ubisoft games are. So it's intended to be a normie game. Whether or not it will actually get normie caliber sales is another question entirely.
Yeah, well, chat's telling me wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Won't be the last.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's been other responses to this as well, including everyone's favorite Kotaku, soon-to-be-fired blogger, Alyssa Mercante, came in with this wonderful take. Says,
oh boy, I'm sure this will be illuminating.
Maybe just say your racist response to a video game is indicative of moral decay. Get bent instead of this, right? So she's saying everybody else is wrong, but me. And
did she just call the entire nation of Japan in moral decay?
And
Okay.
racist.
I'm glad you picked up on that because I read that too, and I was like, she just like that's exactly how I picked up on it too, which was amazing. And as
So you're
pointed out,
saying that the white woman just called all the Asians racist?
She sure did. It seems like that.
Anyway, carry on.
Smash pointed out, says, today I learned that not agreeing with changing history to fit DEI agenda makes you racist. What a timeline. That's right. So there we are. And this is from Pirate Nation over on X. I just found this absolute hilarious. This is the absolute state of AAA gaming here, which is all like warnings and responses and letters posted on X, which it's all just nonsense. Recent games. This is a reoccurring theme along the way.
My favorite one was there. I see Cyberpunk there at the top. CD Projekt, they posted a GIF because they run GOG, or at least they did at that time. I don't know if they still do, but anyway, they ran GOG and they posted a GIF from a game that was, what was it? Hatred or something like that, where the main character was peeing on a grave that was marked game journalism. that was the GIF, and they posted that. And I quote, I'd have been saying for a while, like, people thought that CD Projekt were based. This is before Cyberpunk 2077, maybe even before the first DLC for Witcher. And I was like, I quote tweeted, I was like, okay. And the countdown begins for an apology in 3, 2, and literally within 15 minutes of me making that tweet, they posted the form letter, right? We're so sorry for any psychological damage. This GIF of a dude peeing on a grave marked game journalism. Jesus.
Just, it's amazing. Well, there we go. I guess we'll see how that game sells when it comes out in mid-November. If it sells
Postal
well
2. Thank you, guys. It was Postal 2.
What Assassin's Creed sales figures. I'm curious what that looks like for the what that looks like per game, as if it's gone down at all over the last few.
For a long time, the first one was the best selling, and then I think Assassin's Creed 3 beat that out, unfortunately, because it was a really bad game. And then I think Origins and those games have gone a little higher than that. But Mirage, if I had to guess, I haven't looked at the figures, I would guess Mirage probably didn't do as well.
Here's a quick summary here, which this is from VGCharts.com, has a list of all of them right here. Assassin's Creed sold 8 million. Assassin's Creed 2, 9, Brotherhood. So we're looking at 10 million a piece. I mean, that's a shit ton of games. Black Flag, 15 million, which, man, it's good stuff. Valhalla, Mirage, no sales figures for those right there. But yeah. So I guess it's still killing. I mean, that's good ass numbers right there. So good for them. All right, let's go ahead and move on. This was an interesting interview that happened yesterday between Elon Musk and what's his name? Jordan Peterson. Is that his name? Labs?
Kermit
I
the
think
Frog.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this ties into our next story a little bit. So these are going to tie together. But Elon Musk did an interview talking about the transition of his child. And Razor, did you see this interview here?
I did. I caught a little clip of it, but I didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay. So once again, this does tie into our next story, which is why we're talking about it. But here we go. This was interesting stuff.
It happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he did.
That was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
That's
So
a
I was
personal
tricked into doing this,
And I know I saw some of the comments on this, and people were a little incredulous. Oh, he's a bad dad. You guys don't understand. Like, you take your kid to a therapist because they might be having problems in one way or another, and you don't realize necessarily that the therapist is just a pill pusher and is going to push this stuff on your kid. In a lot of cases, therapy is very different. Like, I'm a believer in therapy. I know people who it's helped. Right. But there's a lot of therapists out there that are like now really ideological, that are pushing a lot of like hormone pills and transitions and stuff like that. And some of them do it without the parents' knowledge. It sounds like this is kind of what he's describing.
Right. Well, this has been he'll continue here, and it really hits hard here in a second. And as a parent, you want what's best for your kid. And if someone's saying like, they're going to die if you don't do this, they're going to kill themselves. What emotional?
They're going to die if you do this. If the post-op suicide rate is any indication.
Well, the emotional terrorism associated with this is what we're talking about here.
Right.
Let's go to continue.
actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
What a statement there, man. My son was killed by the woke mind virus. Yikes. But it continues on even further.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. So
you can very much tell that he struggles with this very much just by,
and you can understand. Yeah, you can understand. You take your kid to a therapist. Maybe his problem is he didn't properly vet them, but you don't necessarily know. Sometimes they're not upfront with this stuff, but he thinks he's helping them, and it turns out to be anything. But I know people that this has happened to. I absolutely know people. This is not an uncommon thing with modern therapists, unfortunately.
The last 30 seconds here are pretty rough.
Yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
And he says it's with.
So then I got into my bat cave and started fighting crime.
Right.
Wow.
And then it became personal. It got really personal really quick.
I mean, you got to have at a certain point, and this isn't really meant as a criticism because it does sound like he was hoodwinked, but like you gotta use a little critical thinking. The idea that you can just treat the symptom like that and that's going to treat the underlying cause is ridiculous. The whole kind of proposition that like chopping off your crank with a pair of penile pinking shears to cure gender dysphoria. It's like cutting out your larynx to cure a cold, which I think is actually what happened to Biden this past week. But no, it sounds like it makes no sense. You're treating the symptoms permanently. but not treating the source at all.
Well, which it's obvious it's very personal to Elon, right? And as we've gone along and seen his, when you mess with people's kids, pretty messed up, right? And that's what happened here with Elon. Is he's like, nope, I'm not dealing with this anymore. I will fight it. And when you have one of the richest men in the world with one of the biggest platforms in the world, he's going to be called, right wing, anti this, whatever, anti that. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, it's like you messed with his kids, you messed with his child, and that all of a sudden got very personal to him. And which ties into our next story here, which is a continuation of something that broke yesterday as we were talking throughout the show, which was the MrBeast Kris Ava Tyson controversy associated with this. Now, Razor, you have not necessarily been up on everything that's been going on here, right?
Yeah, I don't really follow MrBeast, although he is everywhere. Like, he follows you, right? He's selling me burgers on my phone. Like, what is this? He's freaking everywhere. I don't know that much about him. I just know a little bit. I caught some of just the background noise of the controversy around apparently somebody in his orbit was like trans or something, left the show, transition, something. There was some kind of controversy about it. You guys would honestly have to follow me. I don't really follow this crap.
Well, let me give you the quick rundown. So Kris Tyson, who is now known as Ava Tyson, transitioned to being a woman now. Now, this is a married man with a wife and a child, and has decided that, hey, I want to be a woman now. Mm-hmm. And apparently, this person has been talking with people of the younger persuasion, children,
right?
13-year-old children, and
Dr. Disrespect thing going on. Like, what in the world?
All right, so let's talk about that, because there was when we talked about the Dr. Disrespect thing, the big, and we're going to get to people calling this out, but the big thing with Dr. Disrespect was it was all allegations. There was no actual text messages that came out from it, right? Nobody's seen any of these messages.
It was never released.
Now, with that said, Doc did say, I was messaging this person, and it could be deemed as inappropriate, right? So in him doing so, by him saying that, he was demonetized off YouTube. He lost all his sponsors, right? It kind of went down low, and all of a sudden, Dr. Disrespect is canceled along here, right? It was swift, it was quick, it lasted a couple days, and his career's over, right? Because of this. Now, in this situation, we have proof, we have pictures, we have video of this whole thing. Do
we have to?
Well, we have inappropriate messaging.
I'd rather not.
Well, we'll just kind of give you the high level stuff of this. As here we go, right here.
Craig had a stroke.
Did my internet stop?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He had a Mitch McConnell moment.
You really did.
Sorry about that. Well, the internet happens.
Right.
So let's go check this out here real fast. This is from this early. This is a Snapchat of Kris Tyson talking with a different person that was originally suggested that they're speaking. And the things that are, it's inappropriate stuff. It shouldn't really be talked about at all. This is back when Kris Tyson was a boy, which is a statement that is the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life.
You mean when Kris Tyson behaved like the person he was born to be?
Yes.
Right. Back before he started role-playing a Skyrim character. Yeah.
Yes. And
you notice when they change their names, they never go with like a bad girl name. It's always it's always like Destiny or Ava. It's never like Hortense. Like it's never it's never Gretchen. It never. They don't.
Well, There was also some videos that came out. This is from Drama Alerts. This Kris Tyson's old YouTube channel found where he shared revenge porn pics with his audience of this girl from iCarly, and he's pretty much just talking about it. And he was, going through the I don't know, just sharing all sorts of stuff back in the day when he was younger. Flawed pointed this out after Kris Tyson just deleted all of their Twitter account.
Oh, all of it.
Yeah,
all of
it's
it.
so the Twitter account's still there, but he scrubbed all of his tweets.
Right. So, as Flawed points out, MrBeast's best friend Kris Tyson gets exposed for messaging minors and proceeds to delete all of his tweets and replies. That's innocent behavior. Now, Kris Tyson did do this about a month ago, right? And so it wasn't like, hey, this allegation's out there, then I'm going to delete it all. But the point is that they deleted everything, all right? And then we have, after all these allegations coming out about inappropriate things, Gays Against Groomers has come out and said they are demanding Kris Tyson be removed from MrBeast videos. So
are they still working? Are they still working with MrBeast, or did they split? Or
no, they are very much a member of their quote unquote crew, right?
Still?
When you watch,
okay,
yes, when you watch the videos, there's 4 or 5 dudes that are in there, and MrBeast is like, hey, everybody, I'm gonna go jump this yacht for $1 million or whatever it is, right? And then he has his bros in there that are kind of like, providing their perspective and laughing and all that stuff. And
every time I see MrBeast, he's giving someone away money, right? It's like Publishers Clearinghouse for Zoomers, basically.
Yes. Well, Keemstar, who took this is taking this very personally, because there's another layer to this which I didn't mention, Razor, which was he was Kris also was really into, I guess it's called lolly something. It's like, please describe this. I don't know anything about it.
Right. So this Kris dude, the employee of MrBeast, he's really into inappropriate art. So he was a really big fan of this one artist who would draw minors in sexual encounters, like 12-year-olds, and he was actually like drawing like the actress who played Daphne Keene when she was 12. He would draw.
Now, is he drawing this from inside the wood chipper, or was this?
Yeah, no, it was outside in the free will and everything. Yeah,
okay,
so it was totally inappropriate stuff, lots of stuff. Yes, Chad is named Shadman or Shadbase for his website. And this Kris guy was a big fan of this really freaky, weird art of sex with minors. So to understand all that, you have to understand where this guy's coming from. But like this artist also did inappropriate pictures of Keemstar's child.
Okay. So speaking of Keemstar, I reached out to him this morning. I said, hey, we're going to be talking about this. Would you like to share your perspective on this? Because this to him is very personal. He literally just DM'd me saying he'd like to come on. So I sent him the link just to get his perspective on this, because this is very personal to him. So if he shows up, we'll get his perspective on all this stuff. So because like I said, I'd much rather be talking with somebody than about them. So, all right. So, but speaking of Keem, says, now, one of the big allegations from this video that came out was Kris Tyson apparently groomed this person named Lava. That's their name, their online avatar. And Lava was apparently like 13 at the time. Okay. And MrBeast apparently connected Keemstar directly to Lava. And Lava says, I was not groomed by Kris Tyson. And says, I did not meet Kris Tyson by myself. And I met Kris and MrBeast crew with my family present. And Lava says, I ran a Discord with Kris Tyson when I was 13, and edgy, inappropriate jokes were said in that. Right. So the person that's saying they were groomed by Kris Tyson is saying, well, I wasn't groomed. Right. Which has been pointed out by many people. But the idea of being groomed is that you don't know that you're being groomed. That's kind of the idea here. So, but Savvy chimed in on this. And Labs, you want to read this off from Savvy?
Yeah, so this is Savvy's perspective saying, talking about hentai with a child is inappropriate behavior, and they've just confirmed the validity of everything that was exposed. Chris has displayed a poor sense
Validity. Hold on.
I can't say the word. Chris has displayed a poor sense of judgment and should remove himself immediately from the YouTube channel because of the nature of the younger audience. If these are things we see publicly, what else is hidden beneath the surface? This is gross. And that's my point here is like, so this is all that we see, but what's also going on behind the closed door?
So she's been calling him out. But you may be asking yourself, what about people who have worked for MrBeast in this situation? Which goes by, we go by a former member of his crew, Jake Franklin, goes by Jake the Viking. And he's been pretty open about this on X. This is in response to the video yesterday. Kris Tyson from MrBeast was messaging a male minor started when the minor was around 13 and Tyson was 20. He responded with says, while we're at it, Kris should tell everyone how old the girl was. It wasn't how old the girl was. He was snapping. That's Cinema's first ever pair of Gucci slides. Followed up with this was like the biggest one. He just says, MrBeast knew. Jimmy knew.
So here's my thing with all this stuff. Did he just find this out today, like yesterday when he tweeted this stuff out? Because otherwise, it sounds like he's self-entrapment right now. That he also knew because he's like, oh, well, Jimmy knew. Well, how do you know that Jimmy knew? Do you know this? Yeah,
that is a good point.
Well, I think in a situation like that, right? Jake is, and I don't want to defend Jake. I've been on one show with Jake. We've DM'd a couple times, but I think in a situation like that. Like MrBeast is the boss. It's his job. It's not Jake. It's not Jake's job to. I mean, he can point this out. He may know it, but he's an employee.
You knew about. So why are you running your mouth on Twitter saying, "Oh, look at all this"? If you knew too, you're kind of just as bad.
Maybe he assumes that he knew. You don't know. I mean, he would have to clarify that.
Well, see, that's what I'm wondering. Like, did you just find out? Like, as I said, like, did he just find out yesterday and all this? And it was like, oh my god, he knew. Like. So, I don't know. I kind of find like these are a bit self-entrapment tweets.
Well, I don't know. But he followed up with this. This is from the tweet we just looked at from Keem. It says, Jake says, I ran a Discord with Kris Tyson when I was 13 and edgy, inappropriate jokes were said in that. Sending sexual jokes to a 13-year-old is not okay. Never has been, never will be. GG's to Lava for confirming the allegations. So by Lava, this was the allegations was that Kris Tyson was talking to Lava inappropriately. And Lava's like, in a roundabout way said, yeah, this happened right here. And we continue here to asking about Biden and all this stuff. But this was even further here because this came out. This is what we saw earlier. He tweeted about an hour ago. Says, the silence is deafening here. Now, what about this other person here? And I haven't read this one here. It says, this is why all your favorite influencers are fake and have no backbone. Doc gets accused with talking inappropriately to a minor with no evidence. Everyone attacks him and runs his name through the mud. He loses sponsors, partner, everything before a drop of proof is presented. Kris has actual proof, screenshots, recordings, both audio and video, a confession from a victim, and everyone who jumped Doc is fucking silent. Where's the energy? Where's the outroar? Everyone who hasn't said a word should be ashamed. You're soft and pathetic. Grow a pair. Right. So as you can see,
he makes a good point there. I mean, Doc was getting canceled before anyone even had confirmation. Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't until Doc came out and made that statement where he honestly buried himself that anyone had any kind of confirmation of anything. Up until that, it was just a bunch of clucking drama, right? It was just kind of a big cloud of drama around him.
Yeah. Well, there was always drama around Doc. For sure, but it took something like this to get canceled. But here's the thing. It continues here as we don't know who this guy is, right? This is just a guy saying that he worked for MrBeast, right? But it should be pointed out he does have an NDA here. And this is a video that was posted earlier today about this. And there's some copyrighted music in here, but we're going to let it play because it's important to the context.
No.
Hold on, let me turn off the music. I'm outside MrBeast studio right now. Here's a cornfield. I'll explain that tomorrow. I've just been driving by looking to see, you know, is there an FBI raid going on? What's happening? My name's Dawson. I worked at MrBeast from February to May of this year, 2024. Kris is the tip of the iceberg. And when Jake the Viking says MrBeast knew, yeah, MrBeast knew. I heard many times that Ava, Kris Tyson, is a major liability, but they can't get rid of her because she's already threatened legal action and she knows too much. And when all this information comes out about everything that she knew, everything other people know, I promise you on everything MrBeast has done. Amazon, if you can get your money back, get your money back.
So this Kris Tyson is the Kathleen Kennedy of Disney. She knows stuff, or he knows stuff, and can't get rid of him.
Sounds a little more like the what was her name? The McMahon accused Janelle Grant, kind of, where she was getting paid off, and there was no formal cancellation of Vince McMahon yet, but she was kind of getting payouts and whatever. Basically, it was a cozy arrangement, so she hadn't pulled the trigger. It was only after he stopped paying her that she wound up. That's interesting.
So this person may be a clout chaser, maybe, who knows, right? But they're chiming in we have not verified. Like I said, we're not journalists here. We're just talking about this stuff, and we're talking about it as it's coming. But this person says that they worked for him, and I'm sure he's getting hit up for all this for all sorts of interviews and stuff to get more information. With that said, what does MrBeast have to say about this? What does the talent agency? What's that, Blabs?
Nothing.
You are correct. As of this second, MrBeast has said absolutely nothing about this. His latest tweet is from July 17th, featuring Kevin Hart. There's been no statement made by MrBeast or his management company at any time. And like I said, I've DM'd Jake the Viking, and Jake has said that he expects nothing to be said by Jimmy. He expects it to just go away. He thinks that it'll just go away. So ultimately, in a situation like this, I think the best thing you can do is continue to ask questions.
Question. Can you look up the subscriber count of MrBeast and see if it's going down while I read this tweet from Valkyrie, who is a hoe, the one I was talking about before? Because I got Valkyrie and I got Pokimane's tweets about this.
Oh, no.
So the first one is from Valkyrie, and she says, I'm still in the process of moving, so I haven't been able to fully keep up. But in the meantime, since I've been tagged a bunch, PDF files equals bad. Trans does not equal PDF. The actions of one trans person does not mean all. Sucks to see so many anti-trans people act as if it does. I'm hoping Ava speaks up. Dr. D is still gross. Lastly, to the incels that only tagged Pokey and I to speak up, even though everybody did after D did himself, you're weird. Focus your hate towards the pedos for once. And then this person says, doesn't even mention Kris at all. Stop defending a groomer. To which Valkyrie's like, Kris is Ava, and I want them to confess for their crimes. So I just want to point out the pronouns and everything that Valkyrie's like mind swapping here. Kris is Ava, I want them to confess to their crimes.
Refusing to dead name them.
Valkyrie's misgendering because if you go to Kris's Twitter profile, it says she, her.
Right.
I'm just saying. But I just think it's really shitty that these people are just, oh my God, protect the trans people. It's like, well, yes, understand that you can't just go attack a whole group of people. That's not how it works. But the fact that this person is trans doesn't matter. This person's a huge piece of shit.
Right. If they're a piece of shit, they're a piece of shit. Right. That's
but they're like deflecting on the trans community, like, oh, leave them alone. It's like
right. And that really is what a lot of this comes down to. Now, Mudahar also chimed in on this from Some Ordinary Gamers. It was pointed out in some. So we talked about this Shadman guy, the Shadman artist who does this artwork with underage stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And there was an old MrBeast video where you can see a poster of Shadman's art on the wall.
Oh my God.
Right? So, right. And whether or not they want to address the allegations with Kris Tyson or not, as Mudahar points out, the idea that like hanging up art like that on your wall is insanely concerning, let alone from the designer, from the creator, and should be addressed. If anything should be like that at the bare minimum should be addressed, right? The idea of why is there something that inappropriate on a wall in one of your videos right here? Which if nothing else, they should respond that way. Now, XQC, one of the larger streamers on the platform, has also spoken out about this, and says, "I follow mostly only influential creators here, yet most have been silent about the Kris Tyson situation. Pretty deviant behavior across the board. Weirdo. Can't wait to read some of the cope justifications on why it wasn't addressed." As you talk about this now. Blabs, I know you don't like Sneeko. I know you don't like. I know you don't like Sneeko, and I know a lot of people don't like Sneeko. But he also chimed in, and I do want to play his as well. This is from his stream here.
Pokimane and Kenya, these two Twitch streaming females. Where's the consistency? When are you going to go and disavow Kris and MrBeast? You have way more information. You actually have the receipts, and you haven't said a word yet. Immediately, Dr. Respect, ew. Disgusting. Worst person ever. Kris from MrBeast silent. And you know why? Because he's a transgender. Because you don't want to disavow the woke community. You don't want to go against your own people. It wasn't about Dr. Respect messaging a 17-year-old. It was about a white straight man that you disagree with.
Yeah, so I actually have Pokimane's tweets and I wanted to share them with you because I think she's very hypocritical. So she was also the one. What? Oh, you're a little delayed.
Well, let me point out that. What's that? A little delayed. Well, let me say this. It's also important to point out that Sneeko was also a part of the MrBeast crew at one point.
Oh, interesting.
So we have two former members of the MrBeast crew who have come out and been like, "Yo, what's up?" So yes, Blabs, go ahead.
Right. So just TLDR, Pokimane was all like, ew, gross. Ugh, with Dr. Diddler and everything. So now we have Kris Tyson over here. And I'm not sure if you guys can read this. So let me make this bigger. Let's go over here. There we go. It's better. And this is from Pokimane herself. She says, "I don't know all the details regarding the APA situation, but I want to make it clear. Any inappropriate behavior towards minors is unacceptable, regardless of who you are. It's a shame that people see this as an opportunity to attack the trans community as a whole. One person's actions does not reflect on every single trans person's, so please don't view it that way." Now, I'm just curious as to why she doesn't say this about, like, the straight white male. Right. After Dr. Diddler and everything. She didn't go, well, this is not how all white men are like.
Well,
so why is she doing that?
You know what it reminds me of is, did you ever see Norm Macdonald making fun of Margaret Cho right to her face?
No.
He had her on his podcast and they were talking about Muslims and terrorism and something like that. He's like, Norm's like, "My greatest fear is that someone will get a hold of a dirty bomb and detonate it over New York and murder instantly millions of people, because then the backlash against the Muslims would just be terrible." Right? And right to her face. And she was like, "Yeah, that would be terrible." And he looks right at her like she's not getting it. And he's like, "Anyway, we're going to tell some jokes." So that's what it reminds me of right there.
It's awesome. Well, so there's obviously been a lot of like, hey, why is nobody talking about this? How come nobody that is major influencers talking about this? I don't understand. And I think the answer is obvious to anybody who has watched a MrBeast video here recently at all. Because when you look at his thumbnails here, you scroll on down and you see 50 YouTubers fight for $1 million. Right? So who are these YouTubers, you may be asking? Well, they're all right here. This is a picture. And it's one of those things where you go down the list, you say, who of these YouTubers? Like I said, I don't know who most of these people are, right? The vast majority of them. I recognize maybe
Tyson, that right there in the middle.
Yeah, right. Kai's, he hasn't said, there's Matt Pat right there, right? You can see, I guess their names are on their thing there, but like the idea that, well, where are these people? They should be saying something. There's Charlie. Has Charlie said anything about this? Moist Critical, you know? I don't know. Maybe he has. Logan Paul, have they said anything? Right? It seems really, really simple. You know, you just say, hey, like, if you're a bat, like, did we read Valkyries yet, Plabs?
Yeah, we just did.
You did? Okay. So this whole thing is a mess. And this goes back to, I think a lot of this is just people don't want to upset people. Like the idea that what they're doing, and you've seen this multiple times in these tweets, is if you speak out about this, you're speaking out against the trans community. No, we're speaking out against a fucking asshole who's talking to children, who's 13 years old, right? When they probably shouldn't.
The chat's saying Charlie apparently has said something. I don't know where, but that's what the chat is saying.
Okay, let's see if we can find that really quick, because I'm very curious about that, because that's a really let's see, Avid. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I'm sure it's up there and pretty quick. But here we go. We got it right here. This is just a quick 2-minute video here. So we'll see if he has anything to say. So let's just check it out, because I've always enjoyed his content. It's fun. He's funny.
Stuff now. It's been 10 minutes. So I'll probably get asked like 4,500 more times over the next hour or so. But hopefully now there'll be a timestamp here that people will refuse to rewind to and still inundate me with questions asking the same fucking thing over and over again and saying I'm ignoring it. Yeah, so I went through a lot of the Ava stuff. It's definitely not looking good. So I saw quite a few of the messages. And then
why can't people just say that?
Yeah.
This really doesn't look good. Like, it seems like a pretty basic thing to say. Just based off what we have now, it doesn't look good. Which I think that's pretty much all we're saying right here. You know, it's like, it doesn't look very good.
One of the the main person being talked about came forward saying they weren't groomed and that it wasn't weird. But the whole thing is, if you were groomed, you're probably not going to be super aware of it. And from the messages I saw, that shit is completely unacceptable to be saying to a child under any circumstances. And then I saw people saying it was a group chat, but an adult being in a group chat with children and then still saying edgy or inappropriate shit is still unacceptable. Like that, like there's no context that makes it better. And then I saw the tweets where Ava would like reply to lolly and like drawn CP or whatever with really gross shit. Like the whole thing is bad. Like I don't think there's any lens where it isn't gross.
All right, so there we go. So he's, you know, and like I said, that's really all you need to say. Right now, it certainly doesn't look very good. You know, that's pretty much it. We talked about Keem earlier. We talked about how this is personal to him, and you know, on a pretty level. He's joining us now. Keem, how are you?
I am good. I am very good. How are you guys?
Good, man. Thanks for hopping on. So we've talked about this. It's obviously really personal to you. Why don't you give us a quick background on why it is so?
Well, I've known Beast forever. I've known Kris for, it seems like forever. Going all the way back to like maybe 2017 timeframe when Beast like just started making a name. This is when MrBeast was like counting to 1 million and shit for YouTube videos, way before the high production value stuff. I was hanging out at the FaZe house in which is like this mansion or the clout house, if you will. In LA, Beast and Kris came to visit, met them in person. And that's when I think like Beast was telling me, he's like, man, you need to do this Fortress Craft thing. So I did a whole gaming tournament, Fortress Craft Friday. That thing blew up. I actually had Kris and MrBeast in the tournament. And so that's kind of my beginnings relationship with them. Now, later on, there's this article that comes out, like exposing MrBeast for saying edgy stuff in the past and Tyson for saying edgy stuff in the past. We looked into it on Drumler. Didn't see nothing too alarming, but within the last couple years, I started finding him supporting Shadman. And Shadman is like a lolicon artist, like a cartoon CP artist. And I had a horrible run-in with him back in the day because he drew my 8-year-old daughter in a sexual manner. And not only was Kris like supporting this guy, but he was like buying art from him. He was commissioning art. He had art on his wall. There's a MrBeast video where you can see some of the art on his wall. He was tweeting out at Shadman, thanks for the art and the fidget spinner, right? So I've learned only about this stuff in the last couple of years. Now, recently, you know, Kris Tyson has become trans or whatever, and Kris Tyson has been beefing with Nick Merckx a lot, and they've been going back and forth, right? Nick Merckx's main thing is leave the kids alone. Well, for some reason, that's highly offensive to Kris Tyson, which makes no sense to anyone, right?
Right.
What, Kris, what, you should be attacking people's kids? Like, what is going on? You should be trying to get
It's not an exclusive club either. There's a lot of people who are offended by that for some reason.
So I was like, what is this? I didn't even understand that beef, but we covered it on Drumler as fair as possible, right? We covered the whole aspect of this is what Kris is saying. This is what Nick Merckx is saying, right? All of a sudden, this motherfucker jumps in my DMs, Kris Tyson, starts saying that I'm rallying up a transphobic campaign against her. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Every single person that made the tweets on Drumler is my employee, Gino, who is trans. Who is trans? So she accused my trans employee of being transphobic. And I had to lay that all out to her, and she still decided to preach at me, or he, or whatever you want to call Kris, still decided to preach at me, telling me that I need to do better. So I lost it. It's the first time I brought this up to her or him. I said, look, you supported this artist that drew my kid when she was 8 years old in a sexual manner. You have some fucking nerve to tell me to do better. And I like went off, didn't apologize, didn't take any accountability. The only thing Kris said was, oh, all YouTubers supported Shadman back then. That was it. That was the cop-out. And that I need to do better. I fucking lost it. So I started fucking hitting up MrBeast, and I'm like saying like, bro, I swear to God, like this is going to be an all-out war with fucking Kris if Kris continues to talk to me this way. And I let him know what Shadman and the involvement was. And this is like a month ago, right?
Oh, wow. So this is actually really recent. Okay.
Yeah. So all this beef behind the scenes has been going on for like a month, right? Now these stories start coming out public, right? Kris Tyson gets accused of grooming this kid, and you know, it's fair game. Like I'm going to cover, even though I have a personal beef, I'm going to cover the story. So we start covering the allegations of the grooming and this and that. MrBeast reached out to me and said, hey, look, just so you know, what's being said about this groomed individual known as Lava is false. Absolutely false. The Lava guy did not come over to meet up with Kris to have a hookup when he was 16. He came over with his family on a camping trip and just visited the MrBeast crew. So he connected me to Lava. I spoke to Lava, and it seems like the grooming allegations, for the most part, are bullshit. But what is true is Kris Tyson joking around with this underage minor about selling nudes. Like, that is the truth. Ugh. That is the truth. Now, some would say that alone is grooming, right? But is it grooming? Is it joke? I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this, man. If you have a connection with MrBeast and you talk with Jimmy regularly, why hasn't he made a statement about this yet? Does he just think it's going to go away?
I don't know. But he is not the type of person to make a statement like that. That's like the last thing he'll do. If we see a statement from MrBeast, it won't be today. Probably be tomorrow, because tomorrow Biden's going to stop down, right? Step down. So, like, you know, he's going to make a statement where everyone else is talking about something else. I mean, that's how I would do it if I was him.
Sweep it under the rug, yeah. So what about, you see like Jake, right? Jake and Sneeko speaking out of this. These are two former members of the MrBeast crew, and you know they're saying, "Hey, man, like, what's going on?" I mean, it feels like, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire in a situation like this.
Well, here's the thing: there was a Reddit post put up on our YouTube drama. Are you familiar with this? Like our YouTube drama. By the way, this Reddit, what is it called? Subreddit or whatever, is completely taken over by hive mind woke weirdos, right? They
on
only
Reddit, you're kidding.
They only let certain stories go, right? So they've been sweeping for Kris Tyson this whole time. Well, someone said, hey, look, a lot of this stuff around Kris Tyson is transphobic and wrong and false. However, what is true is he did support the cartoon CP artist known as Shadman. That was roughly the headline. They fucking took that down for misinformation. And when I saw that, I was like, fuck this. You're not going to fucking do this. Now, granted, you know, what is the most views they get over there on their fucking subreddit? Maybe 1 million if something goes super viral. So I took a screenshot of that tweet and I tweeted it out and I said, no, actually, this isn't misinformation. This is a fucking fact. Kris Tyson supported this cartoon CP artist. He did, as a fact. And my tweet has 9 million fucking views. So to the fucking moderators over there at our YouTube drama, if you want to keep like blocking information, blocking the fucking truth to come out, I am bigger. I'm always going to fucking be bigger. My microphone is going to be bigger. Every time I catch you guys doing that, I am going to reach more fucking people than you could ever fucking dream of. So stop fucking doing that.
So I'm going to follow your tweet. Speaking of your tweets here, let's just straight up ask, like, you know, you have streamers who talked about Dr. Disrespect. They're not talking about Kris Tyson. I mean, it's obvious. I think we all know why. It has to do with the woke aspect of it, the trans ideology, right? The idea that nobody wants to offend a protected class right now. Am I wrong in that, or am I reading through your?
That's definitely part of it. And look,
like flashbacks of Florida a little bit.
I'm really talking about in that tweet. I'm talking about two individuals who folded recently. I'm talking about Pokimane and Valkyrie, because during Dr. Disrespect, they both came out and made statements and said, yuck, disgusting. And they are not the type to do that. They normally don't speak on these issues. So I found it very strange when Kris Tyson is trending for something very similar, they're not saying anything. Now, today, what's really interesting is they both made tweets at the same exact fucking time. I'm not joking, within minutes of each other.
Man, it's almost like it's coordinated.
It is.
Question: Are they represented by the same people?
That I don't know, but I would assume that's very likely. I actually don't know, but that's
and their tweets were like the same thing in different English, basically. Like we read them out just a little while ago.
Speaking of representation, why do you think we haven't heard? We may not hear anything from Beast, right? And maybe if we do, it's tomorrow, like you said, right? Why have we not heard anything from Night Media, who represents? They're
no longer with him.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they cut ties. I want to say like 2 months ago.
Okay.
And so I know all those guys at Night Media well because they purchased my management company like a year ago. So
okay, so they're no longer with him. So who is representing Jimmy at this point? Do you have any idea, or is he representing himself?
He is doing everything in-house. So he is representing himself. I'm sure he has people, you know, like, of course he has employees, but, you know, it's not the standard, like, you know, his managers are not his managers. They're his employees. It's like different, you know?
Yeah. And some people in the chat pointing out, like, that's real interesting timing, you know, with that. And this goes to your tweet you just put up about 30 minutes ago, you know, your House of Cards tweet, you know, pretty brilliant, by the way. Do you feel like this House of Cards is about to collapse on MrBeast? Is this a career ender, or will Jimmy survive this?
The thing is, I've known Jimmy for a very long time. I really, truly believe that he is like a good person, but we're not all good. There's bad things about everyone. every single person. People are not just good or just bad. It's always gray. So there's dirt on every single person walking around this fucking earth. Everyone has dirt. I would assume that MrBeast or Jimmy has some dirt and it's going to come out. And will he survive? Absolutely. He's the biggest fucking YouTube. He has 300 million subscribers. You can't turn that off. You can't, with the key and one scandal, shut all that down. He will be absolutely fine, in my opinion. The problem, what I keep hearing, is that Ava or Kris Tyson or whatever name you want to put on it has been friends with Jimmy before YouTube and has all kinds of dirt on Jimmy and has been threatening lawsuits. I mean, this is the rumor. This is what things are being said. I don't know how much of this is true.
Right.
So I don't know how this is going to unfold. The way I understand it is that Kris Tyson actually owns part of the MrBeast brand, like actually has equity in it. So how I don't know how this is going to play out. I have no idea.
Well, you mentioned, you reached out to him about a month ago, and you were talking about how this could lead to a potential war. Is this has this escalated in your mind as far as if this isn't addressed, or are you going to continue to press on this?
We're going to continue to press just because that's our job, and we're going to demand answers just like the rest of the public. But this personal thing, I almost just got over. It was only a month ago. It still bothers me. It still upsets me the way Kris Tyson was talking to me. All right. But I was almost over with it. Like, you know how it is. You get really fucking pissed at someone and you have every right to be pissed at them, and just time heals, right? You just forget. You're no longer angry. You're focused on other things in life. That's where I was at until this story popped back up. And now I'm just as angry. I'm just as fucking angry. So I really didn't like when some of this information that was coming out about Kris Tyson turned out to be like absolutely false. And then a narrative started like, oh, Kris Tyson's completely innocent. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not completely innocent. Some of the things being said is false, but this is real. This is real. This is real. That's where I'm coming from.
What do you think the proper direction for this is? Do you think that he cuts ties, pays him out, just kind of moves on? If this is, I mean, like I said, there's proof of all this. There's video proof, audio proof, all this stuff that there was things that shouldn't be going on, right? What do you think the proper steps are?
I think MrBeast or Jimmy is in a really tough spot, because if he has to cut ties with Kris Tyson is going to say, oh, well, you liked this art too. We were best friends. Remember, we made these jokes about the art and you were into the art too. I don't know if that's true or not, but I can tell you from my experience with Kris Tyson, this is the type of person Kris Tyson is.
Yeah. It sounds like what you're describing, they like have leverage a little bit on him.
So I really don't know how it's going to play out.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate your insight here, man. Like, obviously it's personal to you. It's personal to a lot of parents, obviously more personal to you with, of your kiddo. I can't even wrap my head around that.
That conversation with Kris Tyson, Craig, should have went like this. I should have said, hey, I don't want to hear about me doing better when you supported this artist. You know what Kris Tyson should have said? You're right. I don't know why I was into that fucking weird shit. I was wrong for that. But no, decided to preach at me more, decided to cop out and say, oh, well, a lot of people liked him back then. Fuck you. I'm so sick of these people that are never held accountable. And this is the one time that Kris Tyson, with all the scandals and all the things that have come out on Kris Tyson, is actually going to be held accountable. We got Pokimane and Valkyrie making statements. It's Jover. Thanks, Craig.
Hey, thanks, Keem. Appreciate it, man. Hey, have a great day, okay?
Yep, you too.
Take it easy.
Soon.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was a lot. And this
I had
story
no
just
idea about all that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
See, I don't follow any of this stuff. I can't really add much. I don't really know much about it.
Well, that's fine. I mean, it's enough just to absorb all the nonsense that's going on. So I'll tell you what, Razor, I'm going to give you an out. We've been going for over 2 hours at this point. If you want to bounce, by all means, bounce. Or if you want to stick, you can stick. But we're going to get to some support and some super chats as it is time to say au revoir today.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Thank you, fine folks, and to everyone. Thank you for joining me. And Godspeed to each and every one of you.
Thanks, Razor. Appreciate you, buddy. We'll catch up with you next week, okay?
And we both appreciate you, Blabs. Peace.
Oh, Lord. All right, see you, Razor. Take it easy, buddy. All right. Man, that was a lot there, man. Lots going on there. Blabs?
Hi.
We got 100 super chats to read.
101. Over on locals, we got $1 super chats from Spoon Ninja saying, hey, nothing to see here.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We're going to continue going on because we know you guys have a lot of support here and stuff. So we want to make sure we get to all of it. Appreciate Keem hopping in and being a part of it. Tell you what, let's read everything over. Let me just do a quick glance here. And then we'll do I still need to do a square up from the other day. Let's do everything over 10, and then we'll square up everything else. And I'll read the 10 while you square them up, okay?
Okay.
Vimaran says, Hail Razor Force and Side Shoulders. Razor, I'm sorry. Do you think you could convince Craig and Blabs to play Earth Defense Force 6? And when you do come out, when it comes out on the 25th, maybe a co-op stream would be fun. Game is simple and fun. Thanks, Vimaran. That sounds super fun. Earth Defense Force is great. Great. Love it. Thank you very much. Let's see. Dimmy says, Craig, if silence is deafening, what about what are you gonna say about Razor grooming his ex when she was 15? There's a full thread on Kiwi Farms, my dude. I've not seen that thread. I don't know anything about it, if I'm being totally honest with you. Thanks for the heads up. Craig says, MrBeast meteoric rise to fame and fortune beginning to look more sus than a basement in a pizza restaurant. Thanks, Craig. Appreciate that. Sigrun came back, says King of Fighters is actually started crossover fighter that spans many SNKs, many fighting games franchises, which is why the roster is constantly packed. Also, Dinosaur is the coolest. That's right. I forgot about the dinosaur right there. Normal Man says, I wouldn't give UB Crap a half-eaten packet of peanuts to play their Le Crap games. Let them know, Normal Man. Cayenne came in and says, Razor Fist, unpopular opinion, Continental Op and Same Spade are based Giga Chads, and Philip Marlowe is a simp. Let women get away with murder. We'll relay that to Razor. This from Shane O'Max says, we need a based theme park that emphasizes bullying, for Normal Man. The censorship is ridiculous. It emphasizes bullying. I don't know if that's a great idea. Nastasis came back, says, from a Romanian, Gypsy is now changed with Roma as per EU. And every time they come in news, they were categorized as Romanians, making us thieves. I mean, we are, but still. That's pretty messy. Normal Man came back, says, Ubisoft is spitting more bull than the former director of Secret Service at a congressional hearing. Oh, don't get me started on that. Lance came in, says, another fun fact about samurai, their primary weapon was a bow. Samurai preferring to fight at range and on horseback using bows, while katana was used as a last resort. Interesting. Demi came back, says, only problem with woke games, there can only be one, and it's Warframe. And the others are just Shallow's copy of it. That's why nobody plays them. Anyone who doesn't care already has Warframe. Thanks, Demi. Appreciate that. Ian says, nouns were more fun before they turned pro. Thanks, Ian. Appreciate that. But Alan came in and says, they say Hillary's going to be running, but Norm said Bill Clinton offed a guy on The View. Rip to Norm. Hail side scrollers. Thanks, Alan. Appreciate that. I Cast Knife says, the thing is, MrBeast is a core node of a huge network of YouTubers. This is true. A lot of these guys are probably worried that once one goes down, the investigation won't stop. I don't think you're incorrect on that. Normal Man came back and says, I never had Razor and Keemstar being on the same stream on my 2024 bingo card. Hey, welcome to Side Scrollers. Timmy also came in and says, this is like the So Scary controversy with Undertale, where the PDF file donated money to have their characters in game, And by the time the devs found out, the game was finished. Thanks, Demi. Appreciate that. Anti-Hero says, hi, you incredibly handsome people. I'm bonding with my daughter these days by playing Red Dead Redemption 2 with her. It's a bit like when I watched Westerns when I was a kid with my late dad. Exactly what you need in those crazy times. Take care of those loved ones and stay safe. Thanks, Anti-Hero. Appreciate that. Jack the Out came in, says, hail side scrollers. When you say you haven't changed, when you say you haven't changed, I remember when you lost it during a news segment over a college canceled Maximum Mexican Tuesday. Yes. Also, the NES could be modded with a blinking light win pin. Yes, absolutely. You are correct. I've stayed. The world has changed. They've gone more insane. Dwight came in with the 10, says, makes you wonder if MrBeast does all the charity stuff because he has something to hide. If any of you know who Jimmy Savile was, he also does a lot of charity work. Interesting. And then Antihero followed up and says, talking about Westerns, do yourself a favor and watch The Way of the Gun if you haven't seen it. It's a modern Western and criminally underrated. There we go. We will square up on. John says Dr. Disrespect said that he only had inappropriate messages, which their person as well. Yes. Grateful Gamer says Kris for touching the lava. Go straight to jail. Very, very disappointed in MrBeast. Yeah, man. There's a lot there. Lot there for sure. All right. And then over on Rumble, once again, everything over 10 says Old School Gamer says at the end of the day, they're about clout. They don't go after MrBeast because he's one of the biggest creators out there. They can't run the risk yet. I don't disagree with you at all. And there we are. We're going to get caught up on the rest of the stuff another time. I'll come back this afternoon with a square up, probably around this afternoon over on the Side Scrollers Plays channel. So, all right. Thank you, Blabs. You got your lights going crazy on your screen over there.
So many screen grabs.
Yes, you did great. All right, we'll email that over.
Mhm.
That was a lot today. We went a little longer, but I think that story warrants it. Do me a favor, guys. If you're new, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and join us. Do us a favor, hit the thumbs up button on your way out. I'll be doing a square up a little bit later on with all the super chats. So please head over to these. You know what? I'll do it over on Locals. So go to sidescrollerspodcast.com, become a free member over there. If you want to support, you absolutely can. I'll be doing the super chat square up over on Locals at sidescrollerspodcast.com. So do us a favor, follow us over there. We greatly appreciate it. Once again, it's free to make an account. If you want to support, you absolutely can. I think that's a great place to do it. So find us over there. Guys, appreciate everybody popping in. Great job today, Blabs. Hanging with all the lefts and rights coming in. Lots of punches all over the place. But super fun. With that said, guys, remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. Have a great day, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.
Fatality.